Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome to Stretford Paddock. I am Adam McCullough, back for a little bit of daily news. Yes, it's Sunday and we've got a bit to chat about involving the stadium, a potential transfer, and of course Manchester United's managerial updates as well. What's going on with our next manager search? David Ornstein has given us an update this morning, and we've got a few other reports from different places in Europe, so we'll get stuck into those as well. Before we do that, make sure you're subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing and all that jazz. It is the international break right now for Man United. Well, it's FA Cup weekend. We've been knocked out of the FA Cup, and then it's international break. So there's not going to be any Man United games for a while until the 2nd of April. Nevertheless, we'll have you covered here with all the latest Manchester United news and all those kind of things, as well as a few debates and all that as well. So keep it locked to Stretford Paddock by hitting that subscribe button. Nevertheless, let's get stuck into some of this news. Now, we'll start off with a transfer story that I don't necessarily think is going to happen. Sorry to poo-poo it straight away. I don't think it's going to happen. Nevertheless, Patrick Berger, not that Patrick Berger, the German reporter is reporting that Tony Rudiger has yet to make a decision with any club. There are talks with Juventus, but no full agreement. With the Serie A side, also, Real Madrid, Man United and PSG are still in the race. Bayern Munich are out now. I think Bayern Munich have had some financial difficulties, which means they're probably not going to be able to compete with those names for Tony Rudiger. Now, Tony Rudiger has been fantastic for Chelsea over the last year or two since Thomas Tuchel went in there. He's obviously available on the free at the end of the season. Now, he's going to cost a lot of money in terms of wages. And it'd probably mean you have to change your wage structure, even for a club like Manchester United, to be getting someone like Tony Rudiger. Let's say you have to give him 400 grand a week. He's not your best player, is he? So that means other players are going to want more. I know we've already got players on more than that, but that just changes the whole game, doesn't it? I don't think Manchester United will end up getting Tony Rudiger. I think with Ralf Rangnick in charge, when you look at potentials of our new managers, I think maybe you'll see us go down the younger route and maybe look to buy a player that's a little bit younger, or develop a player through the academy or something like that. I don't see us trying to compete with Real Madrid, PSG and Juventus for Tony Rudiger. Plus, let's be real. If you're Tony Rudiger, apart from the money, you know, United aren't going to be in the Champions League. Likelihood is we're not going to be in the Champions League next season. So that's not going to help us when we're competing with these kind of teams for names as well. And that's one of the things that we have to look at. Of course, we're Manchester United. We're always going to be an appeal. But you need to have Champions League footballers, football to get the best footballers. Especially footballers that, you know, going into big contracts like Tony Rudiger. Moving on from that, we have another story as well in relation to the stadium. Now, the Daily Mail have been reporting it's thought that the Sir Bobby Charlton stand expansion currently appeals most to the Glazer family. As such, it is the more likely option. It is understood that fans will be consulted before any plans to redevelop Old Trafford are signed off. Now, I did hear, like, obviously there were reports that Old Trafford could be knocked down and rebuilt. And I heard if that was the case, the stadium capacity would be 80k. And I just thought, why would you go through all that trouble of knocking somewhere down just to increase the capacity by that much? Maybe it was just a daft report, I don't know. Of course, you change your stadium for many reasons. United has needed refurbishment for a long time. So it's not just the capacity. So I get that side of things. But why would you change it? Surely if United are going to build a new stadium, we're going to build something that's bigger than 85, 90k, surely. And if we're going to redevelop Old Trafford, then, you know, the South Stand is probably the most likely one to get it. Although they've had issues with the railway end and all that kind of stuff in the past as well. So I don't really know if that's going to happen. To be honest, does anyone expect the Glazers to spend any money on improving Old Trafford? Do you know what I mean? I don't think so at all. Anyway, let's look at David Ornstein's reports from this morning. Obviously, David Ornstein had reported, and he's been speaking on Sky and a few various other places, saying that Manchester United want to wrap up the managerial process in the coming weeks, ideally by the end of March. United are speeding up the process, meeting candidates and whittling down the shortlist. United hope to have a chosen candidate in place as soon as possible. That came from David Ornstein. Around the same time, in the last 24 hours, we've also had reports in France that Mauricio Pochettino could potentially be staying at PSG but he's calling for an alignment in his ideas, projects and methods. Has he heard something about where the Man United job's going? And Mike Verweij, the Dutch reporter, says the club that is mentioned a lot regarding Ten Hag now is Man United, and I think that when a club like Man United comes knocking, you want to go there even when it's in a mess. I mean, managers are always going to think they can improve the club, they can get it right, and if they're the next manager to win a major trophy or bring the league home for Man United, what that does for their status, you know, is going to be remarkable. Even when you think of obviously attracting players, despite what I said earlier about you obviously need Champions League football, players will always want to come to us because there's that possibility that they could, you know, be the guys that help Manchester United win that next league title. Nevertheless, United have to do better with the players that they have. You know, when I look at Marcus Rashford at the moment, and he has to take some personal responsibility for his current form, but I just feel like it kind of epitomises where Man United are at the minute. Most time in my life, Marcus Rashford would have been developed amazingly, do you know what I mean? And you wouldn't be seeing this kind of course you'd have dips in form, but at the moment there just seems to be a crisis with him, and I don't think you'd see that. He'd be protected a lot better, he'd be developed a lot better, and we've done that with a lot of players. And I mean, even if you look at the likes of Jadon Sancho now, I hope we don't repeat the same mistakes with them. There's still hope for Marcus Rashford to turn things around. I'm not writing him off, but what I'm saying is we've failed to develop a lot of talents at the club, and getting the next manager right is so important. You hear about Ten Hag, you hear about Poch. I like both of them, but if you're going to have either of them, they need to have the support systems around them, and the football infrastructure in place to enable them to be successful. And you also have to allow them to do what they want to do, and not allow the commercial side of things to become outweigh the football side of things. That includes letting some players go, buying certain players or whatever. You need to allow the manager to have full kind of say so on what happens on the football pitch. I'm hoping, you know, it's Poch or Ten Hag. Either way, I know you guys have your opinion. We did a poll on Stretford Paddock the other day, and I think it was like 90% wanted Ten Hag. So, you know, a lot of Man United fans want Ten Hag. I'd be buzzing with that as well, and I'd be excited about the future going forward. But United have got to make sure they don't repeat the same mistakes that they have done previously again, because if we do that, then we're just going to end up in this cycle. It's going to become 10 years without a league title, 15, 20 years without a league title, and that's far too long. 5 years without a trophy for Manchester United, that's far too long. Manchester United need to be in the business of winning trophies, developing our players, playing good football, you know, challenging for things, and then making that next managerial appointment is so important, but allowing them the structure to be successful is as important as well. So fingers crossed that happens. Anyway, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you want? Ten Hag, Poch? Get your thoughts in the comments below. You might even want someone else as well. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, liking, commenting, sharing. Keep it locked to Stretford Paddock. We'll have lots more coming your way. Until next time, I've been Adam McCullough. I'm out of here.